Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome, focused learners, to this explainer. Today, we are undertaking a high energy, incredibly strategic deep dive into something that, frankly, is going to make or break your final grade. We are tearing apart the Cambridge AS level Afrikaans speaking test mark scheme. Specifically, we're zeroing in on the range of vocabulary and structures criteria. Now, listen, whether you're sitting there feeling incredibly confident about your conversational skills, or maybe you're slightly terrified about the sheer academic rigor expected of you, this masterclass is designed to totally demystify the examiner's mindset. I'm going to give you a structured, strategic advantage so you know exactly where students lose marks and, more importantly, how you can lock them in. Look at this quote right here. The difference between a B and an A star in Afrikaans language often comes down to how well you understand the mark scheme. It's a harsh reality, but it's absolutely true. You see, it isn't just about how fluently you speak the language. Honestly, fluency is just a baseline. It's the bare minimum. Cambridge examiners are operating with a highly specific lens. They're looking for precise demonstrations of analytical thought, expressed through targeted vocabulary. If you don't know the exact academic benchmarks they're scanning for during that speaking test, I guarantee you can speak beautifully, sound like a native, and still completely miss out on those top-tier marks. Mastering this specific criteria, your range of vocabulary and structures, is absolutely critical. It's non-negotiable for locking in those high grades. So here is our strategic roadmap for today. We've got 4 main parts. Number 1, unlocking the mark scheme. Number 2, the procedural framework. Number 3, critical analysis and evaluation. And finally, number 4, top examiner warnings. We're going to systematically tackle these so you're totally prepared. Let's move right into section 1, unlocking the mark scheme, core principles, and cognitive domains. Okay, I need to clear up a massive misconception right off the bat. It is a huge myth that scoring highly in range of vocabulary and structures means you just have to go home, memorize a massive list of obscure, hypercomplex Afrikaans words, and then just try to shoehorn them into your speaking test. That is a recipe for disaster. The established principles of this mark scheme actually prioritize analytical depth over superficial breadth. What does that mean in plain English? Well, the examiners are looking for logical, structured reasoning. They want to see you use your vocabulary as a tool to build an evidence-based argument. To give you an idea of how this plays out, I want you to imagine 2 hypothetical scholars at Coach. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Now, Alex is highly technical, right? Alex excels at facts, memorizes every word in the dictionary, but really struggles with open-ended evaluation. Sam, on the other hand, is a super creative thinker. Sam is great at big arguments, but completely lacks structural precision and timing. When Alex tries to tackle this criteria, Alex just lists off 20 fancy words without connecting them logically. It's broad, but it's shallow. Sam just talks passionately without using any advanced structures at all. Both of them are losing marks. Why? Because it is far, far better to use a precise, focused set of structures that allow you to analyze a topic deeply, rather than just throwing a wide, shallow list of fancy vocabulary words at the wall and hoping something sticks. You have to prioritize the depth of your analysis. So, the crucial point here is understanding exactly how to apply that depth, and that comes down to hitting the assessment objectives across 3 very distinct cognitive domains. You've got to hit all 3. First, knowledge and understanding. Basically, do you grasp the topic at hand? Can you articulate the core facts? Second, analysis. Can you use sophisticated Afrikaans structures to actually break that topic down into its component parts? Can you contrast an analyze command word versus an explain command word? And third, evaluation. Can you weigh those different parts against each other and form a justified judgment? To what extent do you agree with a point? Let's go back to our students, Alex and Sam. Alex crushes domain 1, right? Perfect knowledge. But Alex completely freezes on domain 3, evaluation. Sam jumps straight to domain 3, evaluating wildly, but entirely skips domain 2, analysis. They both fail to reach the top band. Successful candidates must demonstrate competence across all 3 of these domains simultaneously. Your vocabulary choices literally need to signal to the examiner, hey, listen, I am now moving from stating a fact to analyzing its impact, and finally, I am evaluating its overall significance. Your words are the signpost for your cognitive process. All right, that brings us to section 2, the procedural framework, technical methodology for exam questions. This is where we get highly actionable. Listen, when you're in the exam room and that pressure hits, systematic processing is your absolute best friend. Panic is the enemy of advanced vocabulary. This standardized 6-step sequence is exactly how you maintain total control when you're tackling complex, high-tariff prompts. Step 1. Deconstruct the question. Before you even open your mouth to speak, mentally isolate what exactly you are being asked to discuss. Step 2. Extract relevant data from whatever stimulus materials or text you've been given. Step 3. Select your analytical framework.
How are you going to approach this logically? Are you comparing? Are you contrasting? Now, really quickly, before we look at the execution phase, which is honestly where almost everyone hits a massive roadblock, I want to pause for a second. If you are serious about crushing your Cambridge exams and you want to master these strategies, you need to make sure you subscribe to our channel, Ace the Exams, IGCSE O and A levels, at the handle at acetheexam_IGCSE. Seriously, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications. We drop weekly Cambridge breakthrough strategies just like this, and you do not want to miss them. Okay, let's get back to the framework. So you selected your framework in step 3. Now we hit step 4, and this is the roadblock. Step 4 is where you execute your analysis out loud with clear notation and structured spoken working. Imagine Alex and Sam collaborating on this. They've planned their response, but when they start speaking, their paragraph linking completely falls apart. They just jump from one point to another without any transitional structures. You have to step in and cognitively link your thoughts. Step 5, verify your results. As you speak, does your conclusion logically follow what you just analyzed? And finally, step 6, present your findings using the correct top-tier Afrikaans terminology. By aggressively sticking to the standardized sequence, you ensure you are applying relevant principles systematically rather than just nervously rambling for 10 minutes. And walking through those steps brings us to a massive, massive examiner alert. I need you to lean in and pay attention to this. It's called the method mark strategy. Please, I am begging you, burn this into your memory right now. Marks are awarded for the process. In Cambridge mark schemes, showing your systematic processing and analytical working out loud can earn you marks even if your final conclusion completely misses the mark. Let's say Alex freezes up because the final answer to a complex evaluation question isn't perfectly clear. Alex just stops talking. 0 marks. Don't do that. If you use a beautiful range of vocabulary and logical structures to break down the problem, if you literally show the examiner exactly how your brain is working through the Afrikaans language, you are accumulating marks the entire time. Do not just jump to a final blunt statement. Show your working out loud. Let your complex sentence structures act as the verbal map of your analytical process. The journey is just as important as the destination. Moving right along to section 3, critical analysis and evaluation, interpreting and comparing data. Okay, I want to run a quick interactive workshop right here. Imagine I'm displaying a complex chart or a dense text excerpt on the board for you, and a 60-second countdown timer just started. You have to analyze it. How do you do it? When tackling comparative analysis, looking at the left side of our framework here, you absolutely must identify both similarities and differences. Only pointing out similarities shows a severe lack of cognitive depth to the examiner. But here is the real secret, looking at the right side. To unlock those top-tier marking bands, you must bridge your analytical points with comparative connectives. Words like on the other hand, or in contrast to, or similarly. These aren't just polite little transition words. No, they are the architectural, load-bearing beams of your entire argument. You support each comparison with concrete evidence drawn directly from the text, and you actively use these specific connectives to draw conclusions about their relative importance. You're not just saying, this is red, that is blue. You're saying, while this element presents as red, in stark contrast, the secondary element is blue, which leads us to evaluate that, do you hear the difference? That is what top-tier analysis sounds like. Which perfectly segues into our final section, section 4, top examiner warnings, avoiding the common traps. I'm going to pose this critical question directly to you, and I want you to really think about it. Why do students find interpreting complex texts and data so incredibly hard under exam conditions? Is it just a lack of vocabulary? Usually no. Actually, it almost never is. It is a lack of structured application. When the pressure is on and the clock is ticking, panic sets in, and all those beautiful analytical frameworks you practiced just go right out the window. In fact, when Cambridge principal examiners sit down and review candidate performances across the board globally, they consistently highlight exactly 3 major recurring traps regarding vocabulary and structures year after year after year. Let's detail these specific warnings right now so you literally never make them. If I put a poorly written student transcript on the screen right now, these are the 3 errors I'd ask you to spot. Mistake number 1, confusing cause and effect. Students constantly use the wrong connective structures under pressure. They accidentally imply that factor A caused factor B, when the stimulus text actually states that B caused A. Your vocabulary must precisely and accurately map the logic of the prompt. Mistake number 2, forgetting to check format and presentation. In the context of a speaking test, this translates to failing to organize your spoken response logically. It's when you just start rambling. You must present your thoughts in a clearly sequenced format. Think in paragraphs, even when you're speaking. And mistake number 3, without a doubt the biggest one we see, providing answers not specific to the given context. Listen to me on this one. Do not, under any circumstances, walk into that exam room and just recite a pre-memorized paragraph of complex Afrikaans idioms that have absolutely nothing to do with the prompt you were just given. Examiners spot this trick instantly and it ruins your credibility. Your advanced vocabulary must be deployed strictly and only to analyze the specific stimulus material provided to you in that moment. So, to synthesize this entire masterclass, here is your ultimate problem-solving framework to keep burned into your mind. 3 core pillars: deconstruct, solve, evaluate. First, deconstruct the given information and break it into logical steps using your baseline knowledge. Next, solve the prompt systematically, using those architectural comparative connectives and structured vocabulary we talked about. Finally, evaluate. Check your work out loud for reasonableness and make justified, evaluated recommendations based on the data. Next time you sit down for a past paper practice session, ask yourself, are you just mentally translating your thoughts into Afrikaans word for word? Or are you actively structuring your language to hit the cognitive domains of this specific mark scheme? Because I promise you, that is the exact question that separates the B grades from the A stars. Crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent, relentless strategy. So do not forget to hit the subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels at the handle at @AceTheExam_IGCSE. Turn on that notification bell for future exam hacks and leave a comment down below right now with your target grade. Keep practicing with purpose, trust the framework, and I will catch you in the next explainer.